Well, we have had just a very blustery day at times on this Tuesday, but things are really going to change as we head into Wednesday. Yes, it will still be blustery, but the big story here is that we have the elevated potential for some severe weather, especially as we head into Wednesday. So we're calling it quite active all across western New York. We're going to tell you why, because we show you the convective outlook. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. And when you see the greens with this, it's not really that significant of a threat. It really is just this potential that some of those isolated thunderstorms could go rogue. Now, when you go into that yellow, the slight category, that's where you have a better chance of seeing a little bit of severe activity in terms of those thunderstorms being on the stronger side. There could be some hail with this. There's the slight chance of some tornadoes when you get into that slight risk. But the brown risk here is the enhanced potential, and that's including areas like Cleveland, Detroit, over towards Grand Rapids, back towards Indianapolis, and down towards areas like Cincinnati too. So that's a big swath of the region that will be dealing with the potential for some severe weather, but everyone in Buffalo will be dealing with the slight risk. We're calling this a 2 out of 5 on the scale here, but again, from Niagara Falls all the way down to Bradford, out towards Jamestown, back towards Wellsville, up towards areas like Castile, Warsaw, and Batavia. You're all included in this because we will have some thunderstorms that are quite strong. Now, I want to show you what's actually happening with this storm system. So it's brewing, it's churning right now. It's making its way through areas like Wisconsin and Michigan as we head towards Wednesday morning. So we take you to about 10:30. That's what we're tracking. It does start to kind of bleed into western New York here, but really the core of the low is working its way further eastward at that point. And you notice that it is just bringing so much moisture along with it. So this is, by the time we get to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or so, you notice it's a pretty good swath of the region that is covered in rain. And then we take you to about, let's say, 6 o'clock or so, and notice that this is getting closer and closer. The low is actually swinging to our north, so we'll have kind of the tail end of this piece, this cold front that's working its way through. And once that cold front officially slices through western New York, it is going to start to clear. This is it right here. The line behind it, actually behind the showers, that's what's going to drive all of that cooling. As we head into Thursday morning, notice that it will clear out and the wind direction will start to change a little bit and reorient itself. But that's kind of the bigger picture of what's going on, because once we get to Thursday and Friday, it's really not much of an issue at all. We're clearing out the sky. Friday will be breezy. It will be colder with that northerly wind, so definitely brace for a shock to the system after what we're dealing with on Wednesday in terms of temperatures. But by the time we get to Friday night, Saturday, a clear sky really is beautiful as we head into the weekend, and no major concerns here. Again, it'll be a little cool on Saturday with that light northerly wind, but the winds will actually shift directions to the southeast, and they're pretty variable throughout the day on Saturday into Easter Sunday. Okay, let's take it down to the ground, show you what we're tracking in terms of future look here. So we take you through early on Wednesday morning, no issues here. I do think that the morning commute, it's a little bit of a toss-up right now. We'll have some showers working their way through by about 7 o'clock or so. I would say that this is probably a 6 to 8 a.m. window where we could have some of those showers working their way through. Now, again, some of these could get a little bit of juice and kind of be on the stronger side as they work their way further east out towards Batavia into areas like Wyoming County and even into the interior portions of the southern tier. But notice the southerly winds are going to drive some of that heat into the atmosphere, and that gets it a little more unstable. So we're watching this as we head towards about 10 a.m. Notice that this is going to be kind of sweeping in, and it's pumping in still warm air throughout the day because we're taking a pretty methodical approach to future look here. We take it to about 2 o'clock. Notice that some touch and go showers will develop. This is not the most impactful part of the day just yet. The worst part is the timing of this. Now, when you see these lines, this is typically what you see in the summer. I mean, these lines with organized thunderstorms, when you see those deep reds, that means that rain is very intense. Now, again, we're still a little ways away from this in terms of the event actually happening. We're still, less than 24 hours, but we're watching for this to just hold together, and it doesn't weaken all that much over Lake Erie. This is about 5 o'clock tomorrow, so the tail end of the afternoon drive home is going to be, I would say, pretty dicey. So we're expecting some thunderstorms with this, really heavy downpours, and this again is right around that 5 to 6 o'clock window. I'd say probably has the best potential to really be impacted in terms of big delays on all our major highways. And again, this is from Niagara Falls all the way down to Dunkirk. This is where you have the potential for that severe weather. So we're talking about rain, thunder, plenty of lightning in this as well. Gusty winds, we're talking about also the potential for hail. And, when you have this type of severe situation, you cannot rule out the potential for an isolated tornado or so. Again, Future Look will not be able to pick up on that because when we track thunderstorms, there are a lot of elements kind of on different scales and different types of views that we're looking at to see if a tornado is actually happening. So we're saying it's not non-existent in terms of the potential there. So it is possible, but is it likely? At this point, we're going with not really, but the big impact really is the rain, the thunder, the lightning. Those thunderstorms are going to be loud for sure. We take it about 6:30 as this works its way through. Notice that this is working its way through and it's moving pretty quickly. By the time we get to about 7 o'clock, it'll be out of here. Classic thunderstorm behavior because it just races on out of here. It's not this kind of training thunderstorm activity, which means it just hits the same place over and over again. These are in and out, and then we are waiting for about 8 o'clock to finally catch a bit of a break. But then here comes the final wave of the wet weather as we get into Wednesday evening by about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Here it goes, and then this is kind of the leading edge of the cold front as it works its way through. By about Wednesday at 11 o'clock, you'll notice that things start to ease off in terms of precipitation, just some remaining showers for early Thursday morning, and then the winds, they're starting to twist and turn a little bit, so these are generally getting out of the west at this point, and then they'll slowly kind of lead to a little bit of clearing on Thursday. Again, it will still be pretty cloudy throughout western New York, but that's what we're dealing with as we take you through the next 48 hours or so. A lot to keep track of there, but in terms of how much rain we could pick up from this, these numbers are a little bit on the conservative side. I'd say most areas at least half an inch of rain. Some of the deeper blues here, you could likely see 3/4 of an inch of rain, but I would not put any region out of the running for about an inch of rain possibly from this system. So certainly with those quick moving thunderstorms, they're not hanging around for very long, but you'll notice that if you're caught in one of those thunderstorms, it is going to be raining buckets. It is going to feel like it's raining about an inch an hour. It's going to feel like it's raining an inch a minute at times as we have those thunderstorms working their way through. No weather alerts just yet. Severe thunderstorm watches will be likely as we head into early Wednesday morning. They'll likely put those out from the National Weather Service. So I would expect most of western New York to be lit up in pink. That is a severe thunderstorm watch. That is meaning that conditions are possible, and they're just tracking it because it's possible. Now, once we get into a severe thunderstorm warning, that means it's happening and it's within a kind of a window of time where it's going to impact your community. So we're going to be tracking that pretty much all afternoon long. So make sure you tune in for Most Buffalo first at 5 and Channel 2 News at 6 on Wednesday for the latest. Now, the winds are not so bad. They will be at times pretty gusty, but notice that the winds are not the biggest issue with this. Now, of course, with that cold front working its way through eventually, that's when some of those gusts will be very strong. Could have gusts near 40 miles an hour, but most of these gusts are not terrible. We were dealing with stronger wind gusts to start the month of April with that rain and thunderstorm activity that we had. So overall, generally around 30 miles per hour as we take into Wednesday night. This is kind of after the core of the rain has worked its way through. Winds will start to kind of reorient themselves out of the southwest here. So again, it will bump temperatures up, save temperatures actually. And then we take you into Thursday. Again, it will be a breezy day on Thursday. Winds could gust anywhere between 25 to 35 miles per hour at times, especially as we head towards the second half of the day. Notice that those winds are going to be quite gusty and strong, and then we'll start to back off just a touch because Friday is still windy and it's much colder. Notice that the winds will start to shift to the northwest as we get into Friday because it is bringing in that colder wind. You're watching for those arrows to kind of do a little twist and turn, and you know, I would say the low 40s don't really feel like the low 40s on Friday because of the wind that will be gusting to about 30 miles per hour or so. Okay, let's talk temperatures as our final future look element here. So we take you into early Wednesday morning at about 4 o'clock. Notice the warmth in the southern tier, even Wellsville, Jamestown, Falconer, Cassadaga, Cherry Creek, Randolph, Machias, Ishiway. You're all going to be dealing with the upper 40s and low 50s. We take you to about 6:30 or so. It really is going to be a very mild start to the morning. You definitely probably feel like you won't need the jacket. You absolutely should have one. And we take you into the 9 o'clock hour. Look at that. Everybody pretty much in the mid 50s to low 60s. It's going to be very, very mild. So this is after some of the rain. The winds are bringing in some of that warmer air. We take you to the late morning, close to the lunch hour. Now, this is probably your window of dry time across western New York, where you could get, well, a little bit of a taste of spring, true spring and summer, but we'll be in the low, even mid 70s in some spots, especially across the southern tier. This is where we have really, really mild conditions. Warsaw, Olean, down towards Bradford, Jamestown once again, pretty much everyone right along 86, down the 219, down the 400, Route 16, and down Route 60. You're going to be enjoying warm temperatures. And then here comes the rain. Now watch and pick any number, right? Niagara Falls at this point at 4 o'clock already dealing with the rain. Let's just watch Buffalo's number at 71. By about 6 o'clock, it's down to 53. Oh boy, it's an 18-degree temperature drop. Now let's watch Olean with the rain moving through. We're cooling it down from 73 down to 56. Big temperature drops in terms of that rain-cooled air moving through. That's not even the cold front because we're dropping even more as we take you to about 9:30. Again, still holding steady, but watch the temperatures as we get into late Wednesday night into the overnight. This should be the key. As you see the colors change, watch the colder air fill in. And then once we get to early Thursday, we're into the upper 40s. That may be our high for the day on Thursday, and temperatures will continue to drop. So we'll hang out in the, let's call it mid 40s for Thursday. But again, it's not going to be too warm of a day, but we definitely have to keep track of everything that's going on. So again, Wednesday, very active rain and thunderstorms, gusty winds, hail possible as well. Thursday, much calmer but windy. Same deal for Friday. It is cooler as we only have daytime high temperatures in the low to mid 40s. And then for Saturday, for Sunday, looks really nice. Finally, a quiet weekend across western New York. And then it looks like we get into some showers on Monday night into Tuesday morning. And again, temperatures really, for the most part, are above average. The only day that isn't is Friday. Let's show you the south towns in the southern tier. We have, again, very mild conditions for the southern tier on Wednesday, and then we do still have the potential for a few showers as we get into Thursday, but all in all, not too bad as we head into the next 7 days. Really, the drier conditions will be with us once we kind of clear things out and calm things down. So a lot to get to. Thanks for tuning in for your extended look at your forecast.